Welcome back, everyone. Giving thanks while staying safe. Hundreds of thousands of Americans will be deep frying their turkeys this year in celebration of Thanksgiving, of course, a new twist that we've been seeing in recent years. Unfortunately, not everyone knows that when they're doing this, it comes with some great risks when you're deep frying that bird, which can lead to something much worse than just a burnt turkey. Now, I spoke with Lieutenant Tom Ruiz with Albuquerque Fire and Rescue to get some much needed Thanksgiving cooking tips for today and for the next holiday.
Joining us this morning, we have Lieutenant Tom Ruiz with the Albuquerque Fire Rescue. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you, Crystal?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for joining us, and happy Thanksgiving to you and your family.
Same to you. Thank you.
So we're talking about safety tips when it comes to Thanksgiving meals, because a lot of families are going to be diving into the ovens, but also deep frying, and there's so many different hazards that we come across when we're trying to cook at home, especially with the, everybody at the house at the same time. So let's start with there. What are the fire dangers associated with cooking for Thanksgiving?
Sure. So everybody's going to be cooking. One of the biggest fire dangers that comes about is deep frying a turkey. A lot of people have started to utilize a deep fryer as a way to deep fry their turkey, but along with that, there does pose some dangers along with that. So general cooking safety tips: never leave the kitchen, and or if you're deep frying a turkey, never leave it unattended. That's a big one. Also, keep your kitchen relatively clean if that's a possibility during Thanksgiving, right? But to keep it relatively clean to prevent any falls inside the kitchen, and then never let kids unattended in the kitchen while you're cooking. In 2018, throughout the U.S., fire departments responded to 1,630 fire-related calls on Thanksgiving. That's a lot of fire calls, and most of the time, those were directly related to cooking related incidents inside the home.
Wow. That's very alarming to know that many fire calls were called out. You mentioned the deep frying the turkey incident. I want to go back there because too often you have people that have a great idea and they want to deep fry their turkey, but it's their first time.
Sure.
Does that increase the danger if it's your first time trying to do this?
It does, yeah. There are some really good safety tips online you can find relatively easy. And one of the big ones is to, first and foremost, do not try and deep fry your turkey inside your home or in the garage or on a deck. Make sure you're outside on a stable, flat surface. The next thing is to ensure that your turkey is completely dry. Make sure that it's completely dry before you lower it into the oil. Those are the big ones. Make sure you're not in the garage. Making sure the turkey is dry. Make sure it's on a flat surface.
What are some tips to make sure if something does go wrong and a fire, sparks maybe out in your backyard? What should somebody have standing by just in case?
Sure. So that's a really good question. Do not spray water on a deep fried turkey fire. That is grease, and water and grease, as we all know, do not mix. And what you're going to do if you spray water on that grease fire is make it spread and make it worse. So it would be prudent to just have a fire extinguisher on nearby, so that way in case something does get out of hand, you have a fire extinguisher next to you.
If we don't have a fire extinguisher, which we all should by now in our homes,
Right.
I've heard products like maybe flour. Does that help?
Yeah. Well, if you're outside, if you do have a shovel and some dirt handy, that's always the next sort of best thing.
Okay, so another big fire hazard that we often hear about is that they use the stove as a serving table, and too often you have a lot of towels that are kind of hanging out there as well.
Right. One of the big things to note in terms of fire safety around the stove or the oven is to keep flammable objects like towels or napkins or even aprons sort of a safe distance away. So along with not leaving the kitchen or wherever you're cooking unattended, that's another big one, is about 3 feet if you can. I know that's difficult and most kitchens are pretty small, but just clear the area of anything that's flammable.
Overall, I know there's going to be a lot of family members that are going to be hanging out together, hopefully very small groups because we're dealing with COVID right now. So what is your biggest tip about kids ever even entering into the kitchen when there's so many things happening?
That's a really good question. There's so many things that can go wrong with kids in the kitchen with so much stuff going on, right? Cooking, lots of different plates, lots of different things going on during Thanksgiving. Really, if you can just keep your kids, I guess, out of the kitchen if that's possible, but just don't leave them unattended. Really just keep an eye on them. Don't let them near the stove or the oven while something is cooking, obviously. That goes along with making sure your smoke alarm works. So let's say something does go wrong, a properly working smoke alarm is also crucial.
Now, Lieutenant Ruiz, I know we talked about fires, the possibility of fires with, deep frying a turkey or just, like a stovetop fire. I also want to talk about burns, though, because you guys do respond to a lot of burns on, maybe the arms or the hands during this time of year. What do we do if that does happen, if we do burn our arm or a child does burn their arm?
Sure. First, do not put ice on it. One of the first things to do is run it under cold water if you can. If you feel the need, absolutely call 911 and we can respond to you. Generally, the rule of thumb is run it under cool water and do not apply ice to any type of burn.
How do you know when it's gone to the level that you should call 911?
Well, I would say that would leave that up to the discrepancy of the parents or whoever is there at the house making those decisions. But if you feel the need that it's necessary to call us, then please do. That's what our job is to do, is to respond out, and we'll happily do so.
I know that you guys are going to be super busy again this time of year, as you guys typically always are for Thanksgiving. Hopefully, though, these safety tips will help many families here in New Mexico make it through the Thanksgiving without having to call you guys.
Yeah, thanks so much. Have a good holiday.
Absolutely. You too. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, Lieutenant.
Take care. Thank you.